February 1959, 9 experienced hikers entered the frozen Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. Days later, rescuers found their tent ripped open from the inside. The hikers had fled into the snow in the middle of the night. Some were found barefoot. Some had severe injuries. And to this day, no one knows exactly what happened on that mountain. The year was 1959. A group of 9 experienced hikers set out on an expedition across the northern Ural Mountains in what was then the Soviet Union. Their leader was Igor Dyatlov, a skilled engineering student with significant hiking experience. The journey was challenging, but everyone in the group was trained for difficult winter conditions. Their goal was to reach a remote mountain region and then return home. But they never completed the journey. When the group failed to return on schedule, concern began to grow. At first, friends and family assumed they had simply been delayed by bad weather. Days passed, then search teams were organized. The rescuers eventually discovered the hikers' campsite on the slope of a mountain known as Kholat Syakhl, often translated as Mountain of the Dead. What they found was deeply unsettling. The tent was still standing, but it had been cut open from the inside. This suggested the hikers had left in a hurry rather than through the normal entrance. Even more strange were the footprints. Investigators found tracks leading away from the tent and down the slope. Some appeared to have been made by people wearing socks. Others appeared barefoot. Temperatures that night were far below freezing. Why would experienced hikers leave shelter without proper clothing? As the search expanded, the first bodies were discovered beneath a large cedar tree. Nearby evidence suggested a small fire had been lit. It appeared the hikers had tried to survive after leaving the tent. Over the following weeks and months, the remaining members of the group were found. Several had died from hypothermia.
These tracks are fresh,
Others
moving north.
suffered severe injuries. Investigators reported broken ribs and skull damage in some cases. The force required to create such injuries became one of the biggest mysteries of the case. Yet there were no obvious signs of a struggle with another group. No confirmed evidence of murder, no clear explanation. The Soviet investigation eventually concluded that the hikers died because of an unknown natural force. Many people were unsatisfied with that answer. Over the decades, countless theories emerged. Some suggested an avalanche forced the hikers to flee. Others proposed powerful wind phenomena, military testing, or other natural explanations. Researchers continued studying the evidence for decades. Modern investigations have revisited the case using improved technology and terrain analysis. Many experts now believe a small avalanche or snow slab event could explain why the hikers suddenly abandoned the tent. However, questions remain. Why did they travel so far from the campsite? Why were some injuries so severe? And why does the story continue to fascinate people around the world more than 60 years later? Perhaps the reason is simple. The Dyatlov Pass Incident sits at the intersection of known facts and unanswered questions. We know where the hikers went. We know where they were found. But the exact sequence of events that unfolded on that freezing night remains uncertain. More than 6 decades later, the mountain is silent. The snow has long covered the traces of that night. Yet the mystery remains one of the most famous unsolved cases in modern history. What do you think happened at Dyatlov Pass?
Lost forever to the ice.